This is how you do it. Okay.
All right. Anyways.
It's just booting here. I'll put it up there for now. You can see it.
Yeah.
Is it plugged in? Is the USB cable plugged in? He's saying.
Will there be a power and a USB on that, right?
Yeah, you're. There you go. Lights are coming on. I just oh yeah. It's starting to look like it's coming alive now.
It's working. Brent's got a spare wire.
Oh, there's a wire missing.
That's a USB.
This is other duties as assigned for council.
Other duties as required.
That's right. Where are you plugging it into, Brent?
We haven't figured that out yet. The USB outside the mouth?
So it is, I believe it's already recording.
It should work now.
Okay, so
Just unplugged it.
there you go. Your default has been changed to OWL. Okay, so now take the, oh, it doesn't matter if you take the black tape off.
No, because it's going on my camera, not that one.
Did you get them jammed in there, Ben?
Oh, it's jammed in there. At least we have one viewer, all right?
It's still on my.
There, you got it up in the little corner. Oh, it's on your camera. Okay. Yeah.
That's still Sandra.
Oh, I think I know who the viewer is here. I'll ask her what's going on.
Still powered on?
I feel like a caveman with this.
So it should be grabbing the sound. It should be grabbing the sound.
Yeah.
So let's get this show on the road. Call this meeting to order. Any additions to the agenda, Tim?
Nope.
Merv?
Nope.
Nope.
I'd like to add number 8, my schedule, and number 9, the new staff sergeant for Hillwood Detachment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and I have nothing to add to the agenda. Okay, any pecuniary interest? Seeing none, can I get approval of the minutes from the committee meeting of September 24th? Merv? Brent, second by Brent. Delegations, we don't have any. Daryl? Water report?
A page and a. Oh, hi, Sandra.
We have audio so they can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah,
And now he's got a 2-page report. We can't.
Audio's working.
yeah,
Did you tell Marky that the USB is plugged in?
Yeah, I did.
yeah.
Okay.
I should put his report up on the screen. So
Yeah, I know, because it's a long one.
it's a long report. What's going on?
A little of this and a little of that. Anyways, we finally got our NSF audit back. And we drained the water tower because we have to, because after a year of from them working in it, the warranty is due. So when we did it, the water tower, the mixer was broken off the walls. So it's still not up and running. We took our sample, another sample down today and take another one tomorrow. So we should have it back online by Friday afternoon. We're hoping. And we have to figure out
A remedy.
what happened in there.
Mhm.
So anyways, that's that one. And,
Yeah.
So does the manufacturer or the supplier have any idea who did that, or it's just?
Well-
really-
yeah, it's you.
Yeah, so,
So, but they're not saying hardly nothing right
Yeah.
now. So
okay.
we're waiting and seeing. And, as you've seen, we have to get a monitoring program for this blue-green algae. So that's, we got that completed also. So next year, when it starts getting warm, it's another thing, and that's, the MOE was the driving force of that. So I guess there's getting to be more incidents of it all the time. So other than that, that's pretty well it.
Go ahead, Murph.
I have received from son-in-law a report for all the sandy dumps across the province,
Okay.
and we're not on them.
Oh, really?
And I can
We're sure
send,
getting used lots.
can-
I can tell you
I can
that.
send you this email and it tells you how to get on it.
Sure.
Okay?
I'm glad that it's such a successful program.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
was working at the sewage plant with the technician there the other day, and just in the afternoon, there was 3 different vehicles pulled in.
Yeah. Where this all started, son-in-law brought a new trailer and he's gonna bring it up this weekend. Boy, I said, you can dump it in Eganville. Oh,
So-
you can, so, and then he said Eganville, listen,
So
listen,
we've seen like maybe 6 or 8 vehicles last week that just come, that we've seen.
how long is it gonna be open? Thanksgiving weekend? or-
Yeah, till after.
That's
We'll
what-
we'll close them that day anyway.
That makes sense.
So,
But no, this list,
No,
all the sandy dumps.
Yeah, good.
And you can even go to the US if you want.
not really.
Okay, I'll send you that there.
That's it?
Didn't want to send you.
I think so. No questions for Daryl? No?
Nope.
There you go.
Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks, Daryl.
It's always just nice to see him, you know?
Yeah, short and sweet. Yeah. Mr. Kennedy.
Well, and I think maybe Mr. Zor as well.
is-
Actually, Jason is, it was all right with the committee. Jason asked if he could do the presentation to council.
Perfect.
Sure.
Sure.
So you're not even gonna do your last council meeting is what you're telling me?
I'm here.
You're here. Embodied.
Just,
Responsibility.
You're here in body.
Jack up your chair, you're like you're in a Peterbilt there.
Yeah.
Okay, but before, I know that we'll do this officially, but before we get kicked off here with the roads report, I think that we all just want to say such a big thank you to Bill. We're gonna wish you well in your retirement. You will be missed.
And
Now I'm
enjoy
glad
2
the
weeks of
camera's
beer.
not on.
Yes. Thank you, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, it was only 32 years. It went by like that.
Yeah,
Snap of
exactly.
the finger, right,
Yes,
Bill?
it did. Yes, it did.
Oh, somebody's done this for over 30 years. How much longer do you want the poor man to work?
Every so often you have to change the furniture, right?
That's right.
But you know, you have to be able to do consulting.
No.
I still have your number, Bill.
Exactly.
Don't be changing.
Exactly.
Always great days.
Oh.
All right, Jason.
Does everyone have the report?
Yep.
So Greenwood has started the construction of Fort Chute following our prep work. They have 4 kilometers already with HL8 on it. They've run into some problems, I believe, because they were doing some repairs yesterday on their equipment. So not sure what's going on there. We are expecting the update pricing for Queen Street and Gristmill from Greenwood. So those projects can be completed this year.
Hang on just a sec. I just want to go back to number 1, Jason. I have a complaint about one of the flagmen and their language. So if you wouldn't mind mentioning that to the manager of Greenwood, thank you. Apparently it was not very good.
Okay.
Maybe somebody didn't want to stop me either.
It was a school bus sitting there.
Oh, okay. Not good.
Yeah.
Next on the agenda is the removal and reinstatement of new materials behind the creamery and the township parking lot has been completed.
Looks good.
I saw it, looks great.
Very good. There was a complaint, an email sent from a resident about the posted speed and signage on Hardwick Street.
Read it.
Yeah. Is that not a school zone
Yes,
through
it is.
there?
Yep. And
So the
there's-
fines are increased if it's a school zone, correct?
It's posted, I don't, I mean, I've been down Hartford Street, I know, is it posted?
It is a recommended speed of 30 kilometers now.
And it's posted.
Yes,
Okay.
Posted, it's not posted school zone though.
yes,
It is?
yes. And children playing also. There is school crossing signs up at the school, both ends, in blue and silver and in green and black. And on Hartwig, there is also bicycle lanes that are marked for safety reasons, and everything is marked with the,
Any place there you can put your speed monitoring sign for a little while, see how bad it is?
That's what I would do.
we can do that.
Yeah. I don't think when you get a complaint like this, it's obviously not just one driver.
Yeah.
Right? This was one incident, but
You know what's frustrating? That school's been there for how many years? These people are quite aware that there's a school there and there's kids and everything else. Why would they speed like that in that?
And
area?
it's only people
You
from the
could put
neighborhood.
1,000 signs up and say, slow down and quit doing this. They've obviously have no regard for public safety when they're doing such a thing.
I agree.
I don't know how because we see this all the time, guys. How we can put people on the street and shout at them to slow down and shout louder, but it doesn't seem to work for anybody. Like, is there a solution for this?
Well, I think the speed sign is number one so that we can show the OPP what's going on. But I was going north around that very sharp bend to get back onto Bonnechere Street. And somebody in a Ford pickup truck all jacked up came around the corner and almost took me out. So that was about a year ago, but honest to God, it is dangerous and I don't get it. And I agree with you, Tim. That school's been there forever.
Yeah, it's like a total lack of
That's why they
Respect.
created
respect
signs.
for
I know.
and you're seeing that more and more all the time. Like I said, we can put more signs up all you want, but it's not going to change that.
Yes, but Tim, that's why they created signs.
Yeah.
You know,
Signs.
The fines,
Yeah.
So Jason, where would you put the sign? Because my understanding from the email from talking to another resident on that street, it's when you go up List, you go around the bend, and it's right around the bend is the main concern.
Yes.
So would you put the speed sign facing that bend from on the school side?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd be a perfect place for
Yeah,
it.
just because I know the one resident on the corner there, she had mentioned that before to me.
Yeah, because that seems to be,
Yeah.
I would think, because Hardwig has, it's got the sidewalk and it is lined.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that would be the first, we'll try that one on Hardwick first, and then we'll maybe put it on Jane Street.
Yeah, it's perfect.
well, like we say, whatever we can get for data, we can use that as,
Yeah.
but our new police staff sergeant twist his arm a bit.
Well, when we get to that,
Yeah. Yeah.
I made my expectations crystal clear with now Deputy Commissioner Harkins.
Oh, he's deputy commissioner, that's why he's not superintendent.
So he was chief superintendent when I was on the panel for the hiring. That was the Thursday, and on the Saturday, he was the DC.
That's
So,
why I was looking from there, he's gone.
yeah,
Okay.
he's in Aurelia now.
Okay.
It's fantastic. Such a great guy.
We received a request from a resident to have bee gravel placed on a portion of Howard Road. The previous council, in the last term, approved putting several loads on the washouts. Does council wish to proceed?
That's
on the portion
that'd be the unupward road allowance, right?
Yeah.
For going back
That's right.
towards,
past the last.
Past
past the last
Katrina's.
house,
Yes.
Past Howard's.
past the last house.
Yeah, that's a seasonal.
Yeah, but what do they use it for past the last house? What's it being used for?
Well,
It's
there's
just I guess,
The
the
farmer's
resident has.
Can somebody build a house back in there past, usually go past the.
Like that's not
farm.
plowed.
Sheridan, it's
That's-
on the left.
That's not plowed, is it?
Maybe Bill should answer this question. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought we said this was a one-time only thing.
Yeah, what had happened was, the resident, there's fields and that back in there. Apparently, they're saying the road was never closed. So, to my knowledge, we've never did any work in that area. It's about 600 meters, I'm guessing, from the end where the houses start in. And then what he had requested at the previous council was that we would go in and put some gravel. And we got too busy, we didn't get it completed, that project completed. So I had suggested maybe, or I actually had told the resident we bring it back up to council again and just see if it was still a go.
Yeah, but I don't really see what they're using the road for their own personal use, right?
Yeah, but it's public property. Anyone can go back in on the road. You're putting gravel on public property.
My understanding, it was a through road until the bridge went out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's no bridge in there, Mark.
Well, the other end is closed on Sand Road. That's closed because we have a berm on that side, so.
But if it is, sorry, John.
I just don't understand if you bermed to one side, why it wouldn't have been bermed on the other side. But
It's public road to the access of where it goes in the field. I think we should look after it.
Did somebody build a house in that field?
No, it's before that, Merv.
Like I haven't been in there.
Yeah,
yet.
we extended the road, the township actually extended the road to where John Sheridan built his house, just
Okay.
past Howard's farm.
Okay.
So we extended the road. to
I
that.
didn't know exactly where he built the house. I haven't
Yeah,
been in
so
there.
this is a seasonal part, and it's not even on our radar as far as seasonal work
Yeah.
that since amalgamation, we've never done.
so how far are you gonna go? Right to, you're not going right down to where the bridge was then?
I was in there this week, I just took a scan in to see how bad it was, and there's a few spots where they've, I guess the culverts have blocked, and they've actually dug trench to let the water cross.
Oh,
So you're looking at, I don't know, if you probably went in there and dumped maybe 5-6 loads of pit run, you'd resolve the worst of it, but you're probably gonna have to run a loader or a grader in there then to
We're
smooth
going
it
to
out.
plug the culvert.
No, it needed more than a shovel.
Okay.
But, yeah, but you're stopping short of going down into the bush then.
You can't go down to the bush, there's a berm, it looks like there's a 4-wheel. If you go right to the back, there's a field in that area to the right,
Mhm.
and that's pretty much where it ends. So it says, we said, access to the properties in there, basically what you want.
Yeah, but it is public property.
So this was a kind of agreed upon previously, and then we're just kind of finishing what we agreed upon previously is the best.
We're
Okay.
just making sure
Okay.
the
So then-
council's aware of this if there's a change of heart that council does not want to proceed with.
Well, if it's access to the back and it is
Mhm.
public, I think we should keep it up to the,
To an extent.
you know, within reason, right?
All the seasonal road.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
and I appreciate the background because I didn't realize that this wasn't finished. But in my mind, I think previous council and Merv, you can let me know if I'm off my record here. I think we said, yeah, we'll do it, but that's it.
Yeah,
But to finish it, I agree.
my memory goes to there's a house built in there and we extended the
Yes.
house. I thought the house was back in, I haven't been in there in years. I
No,
thought
that was actually Merv where the house is. We came to council, or I came to council, and the road was extended to that part. We built it, but this is, you
Beyond
would say
that,
a seasonal part if you want to call it that.
well, there's a field in there where they would cut hay and whatnot.
Correct.
Yeah, and ATVs play. And
But it is open to the public.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
Okay,
All right,
Go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to derail you, Jason.
It's fine. We've had additional training in-house by Jared Stokes of AGL, and we are now live with a new software program.
Great.
So we've had a little more extensive training.
you know, you can tell us everything about anything.
Sure.
Tell us how to get the hoodie on then. Get the pictures working.
not up to date on that.
Poor Hootie.
Not within
Sandra's
job
doing your best
description,
over here.
Between now and freeze up, we have approximately 10 more culverts that we have to replace in preparation for spring flooding.
Are you guys, Bill, you doing anything over on Silver Lake Road or not? Remember when we were looking at the flooding there last spring? That culvert's gonna be.
That's on the list.
Okay.
It's one of the 10.
It
One
made
in
the
10.
list.
Okay.
Yay.
Currently, our culvert installation fee, the township normally charges $300 for a 20-foot culvert. I would like to pass a bylaw to increase it to $500 for a 20-foot culvert.
That's private drivers.
Yes.
That charge probably hasn't been increased since I've been sitting here,
So only
so,
$300 doesn't cover the cost of the culvert anymore.
yeah,
Plus, there's usually a load of gravel that goes in
Yeah.
also. So.
perfect. We will make it happen.
See, the reason I built on a hill, so I didn't need a culvert.
There you go.
That's what happened on top of the hill.
Water rolls downhill, right?
There was an addition to the agenda also. A resident will be submitting a receipt for a broken windshield that happened on Grath Road after the resurfacing was done. I guess there was more than one time that he got stone was on the windshield and it finally broke.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, because I took the call on that. Apparently, he when he called me, he said he had three different windshields that he had chipped. He got a new vehicle on that. And he said, it needs to be swept. I told him it was swept. We went and I said, I'll call Greenwood to make sure it's swept again. I spoke with Greenwood. They're sweeping it, they either said today or tomorrow. So we're talking about sweeping the edges off the stone again. And then he called back and he just said that he would be submitting bills to the township. And I said, well, go ahead. Not that it's going to be paid, but go ahead and submit it.
Don't we just forward that to Greenwood?
No,
No.
that's,
Okay.
it's yours.
So you said 3 windshields? He said he's had 3 windshields chipped on 3 different vehicles.
That's what he said.
And that's the only complaint we've had.
One other one that was earlier when the construction was going on, I said we had met a vehicle and chipped it, but I had said that it wasn't our trucks that were doing it. This was when the gravel was
Right,
going down.
yeah.
So I had said that wasn't our truck. So,
All right, well, bring it forward when it comes in.
Also, there's been some connecting link funding came through.
Yes.
So we're going to check out the bridge with an inspection. And we'll see where that goes and we'll submit it to Mackinac and Perry.
Perfect.
Get them to process the.
Cut it to life
Funding.
expectancy
So-
of the bridge.
Just so council's aware, we are, I believe, one of 3 municipalities in Renfrew County that can apply. There are only, I don't know why, but there are only 3 of us.
I think there's only 18
Oh,
townships in the province of Ontario.
really?
If I've got that.
Well, I'm glad we have a project for it.
You got her going.
Yeah, Hootie's up and running. Hello, Hootie. Did you have anything else? Because we have one other piece of
Go
correspondence.
ahead, Bill.
I was speaking with, as council's aware, we've budgeted for some weed spraying. We've been dealing with the county to line up the contractor to do it. So I was speaking with Laurentian Valley just today, and theirs hasn't been done yet, so it hasn't been done yet. We were kind of in discussion that we call the contractor and just say, let's leave it for this year and redo it again next year. I just think personally, with the weeds going into a dormant stage, that, it's almost like wasting our money if we don't get it into the spring, into the summer, that we're going to do. So I was actually, I just got off the phone on that. So that's why I wanted to mention to council. So I was going to just send them an email, the contractor an email, and say, we'll pursue this next year, and maybe he'll even hold the price. But at that point, we could say, like, we have all the connections and everything, so we could just go ahead and do all the permits and everything we do, or we need to do next year in the spring.
Go ahead, Murph.
Putting on my chemical applicators hat, yeah, forget it, it's a waste of money, put them on this, you gotta get them when they're growing. Like, I've got some sumacs I want to spray, and that's not gonna happen till spring. You gotta get them when they're growing, not when they're growing. You're wasting your money. Okay?
One question for you there, Bill, before you take off on us there. Back in the spring, I think we budgeted for some reflectors for the rumble.
I've been at the contractor for
Okay.
that too. That was supposed to have been done about a month ago, and
Okay.
I've been calling about it. So yes, we're still have the reflector around the corner of the bank, and we're looking at coal plastic in place. So all the crosswalks downtown, the turning lane, the school crossings at each end, they're all be done, and there's a couple of the stopwatches.
That's great.
Okay, yeah,
That's good.
It's still, it's still,
in the works. No, I didn't know if we had any updates on it. I just know I've been trucking through town this last while, and oh yeah, because I see people coming across Strong Side of the Road at me quite often, so. for
Do you
sure.
want to bring that up or the?
Yeah, the email about the traffic lights.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you guys were included in this email. It says Eganville Roads Department. Did you see an email from a Mr. Fleming?
Yeah. Eric Flynn?
Regarding you did, okay. Do we have a solution? It's in our correspondence.
It's in our correspondence.
Oh,
I was actually speaking to Brent about this. So this will be my last back in time history. Sorry. So originally, when the lights are put in, and these lights still have the ability, they were put on a timer. In other words, every time they would go through their cycle, each way would have to stop and go. So everybody had a certain amount of time to go through the lights. Everyone, pedestrians had the same opportunity. So with this new system that was put in, we went to the loop system. So the loop system is activated as vehicles come onto the loop. It's set up that Highway 60, and which I will call from Kelly's Corners to Golden Lake, has through run. So in the middle of the night, those lights will just stay green unless a vehicle comes in and from 41 crosses the bridge and pulls off the loop and activates. I actually had a call from the OPP as well. What they were saying that someone had called, the lights aren't working. And I said, well, are they staying on the loop or are they moving on to the loop or are they not? So the loop is 1 meter ahead of the stop blocks and 3 meters back. So that's the area of the loop of what, if a vehicle does not come onto that, it will not activate those lights. I've seen actually a tractor trailer sitting on the bridge, and I went by and they were lined all the way up. I went all the way around the block and told him he's got to pull onto the loop. We were having this discussion with school buses back a couple of years ago when they were first put in. We told them they have to pull up onto the loop. Everyone's staying back from the stop blocks. Also, what had happened was there was an event that happened where a lawyer was, it was the Crown Attorney. He was charged with running the stoplight in town. So he was coming from Kelly's Corners and he was going through, so he was charged with running it because he felt there wasn't enough time between the orange light and that it was staying orange. We increased that by, I think it was 2 or 3 seconds. So that gives you more time to cross it, to get through that intersection. And we increased it that if you're coming across the bridge, there's, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 35, 37 seconds that you have. But if the vehicles do not stay close together, that one person is moving off the loop as the other person is going on, then it'll go just to that 3-second interval where it'll change. So bottom line is people are not driving on the loop, and the lights are set up every once a year. Bob Bell comes in, does a total inspection of the lights, make sure they're going through their cycle and working properly. So we're in compliance 100%. I do realize that the crosswalks, the stop blocks are faded, but that in turn, we're looking at getting the whole possible.
Okay, so we have some sort of solution.
You're not changing it. The only other solution that you could have is if you want to go backwards and just, those lights have the ability to go onto a timer system.
Somebody has said the most main traffic is 60.
Yeah, well,
And that's why
60 is your main,
And that's
line.
why it goes, and it's been that way for years. And we have been down that road before, please pull into the loop.
Go ahead, Tim.
One other thing I've noticed, I see a lot of confusion with people waiting on the walk sign and they're not pushing the button. Is there a way that we can go to or back to, or would that be a good idea to go back so you have the go ahead, like the walk crossing when they have the right of way rather than wait? Because it's a confusing intersection for a lot of people, because a lot of the time when you're making, you're right into the intersection, the people in that lane have the right of way to cross. And I see a lot of people getting confused at that crosswalk because they didn't push the button. They're automatically assuming that when the light goes green for the other lane of traffic, that they're supposed to be able to cross.
And if you push the button, that will activate, so that will activate it that much faster. And the other thing, by law, just because, so it'll show green, you could crawl across there at a snail's pace and it'll go to the stop hand, but the pedestrian still has the right of way until that stop light quits that flashing.
The thing is that it doesn't change unless they push the button, the walk sign doesn't come on.
That's correct.
So that's where I see a lot of people sitting there and they run around and they go back and push the button or whatever.
I'm sorry, Tim, to cut you off, but I'm pretty sure that the reason we didn't do that is it has to you can't run the loop that way.
Okay.
So you'd have to go back to the timing
Oh.
system. I'm pretty sure that was the reason, or we would have did it at the time somehow.
Of course.
I thought it was just if
Yes.
somebody needed to cross, that they could push it and they would change the lights to your favor.
Yes, and it will.
And it does, but there's no other way to have it, so it does go that you can.
You'd have to go back to the timer system and then everything would be stopped.
But the timer system didn't work as well as this.
Well, you'll have a lot more backup traffic for sure.
Yeah,
Because
on 60,
Yeah,
exactly.
On a long weekend, it'll tend to flow a lot more efficient.
Okay,
Okay.
that answers my question with the walk.
But we are putting in these reflectors,
Mhm.
like maybe some more signage or better signage. I agree that it is a really dangerous intersection. When I come around on the green, just with people going back and forth to Fresh Mart, I really keep my eyes out for pedestrians.
Just walk 100 feet south and jaywalk.
Well, no, because that's the problem. No, but that's what's happening. So
Yeah.
people are parking,
Over by the creamery?
no, up the hill. And when you come around, instead of crossing at the lights, they're crossing, across from Maria.
Yeah.
Well, I think the main thing is what Tim had said is that people just aren't pressing the buttons, because I see that on a regular basis, and then the walking symbol never comes on for them, right? It's just a hand, and then they sit there, and then another green light goes through, and then they're wondering why and stuff. So
Yeah.
Put a big
it's almost
Big
like
sign.
big
Big
sign,
sign.
push button to
it's
cross.
almost like you have to
That's right.
paint the sidewalk and
Well,
press button.
basically you have to get knowing that to activate the walk button, you have to press it. It's not gonna come.
But it's not a unified system, because a lot of areas, you don't have to push the button if it's already going to change your lights.
Exactly.
And that's where the
Exactly.
confusion comes in,
Yeah.
especially from visitors, right?
Sure.
For sure.
But
And I see it all the time.
The reflective lines will help, so.
Yeah, they will. Mr. Chair, do you want to go into close now with Bill and Jason? Instead of having them come back?
Doesn't matter, I guess. What's your schedule? Is it better to go now or later? Go now?
We just got the camera working.
I know.
It's okay, it'll start again.
It'll start
You
again.
have it all figured out?
Yeah, she's fixed
Oh, now that
it.
it's warmed up,
It
it'll start
wasn't
again.
available, so I don't know if finally after.
I went through the
he's unplugged it,
sequence?
Plugged it, it finally became
All right, well, we're gonna have to have a closed session here, guys. What are we going in for, identifiable, or what are we
Yep.
doing? Identifiable. and
Personnel,
Personnel.
identifiable, all
Can't
Okay,
be pulling a
sorry.
coin or anything. I do it, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, we're young.
Yeah, I know. I'll be a real rough 42.
So,
That sucks. Right?
No, we're not, you can't.
I know. Where's the press?
Don. I'll have to talk to him later, I guess.
I wanna do it.
Her purse, so she's still here.
Where did Rudy go?
I smell coffee.
Do you want to take a break and then?
Well, they have to get to work, so. may as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, let's take 5.
well, Bill
We'll just
doesn't have to go.
Just tell them
Just tell
outside.
them, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Jennifer's gonna go join them.
Are we back on there?
Do you want me to turn it off?
No, it's fine.
And you'll let us know who that is on Friday?
No,
Or
no,
Tuesday?
no. Tuesday, he's picking individuals. You won't know until after this is done, right?
Okay,
You have to
So-
go through.
everyone knows that Bill is leaving us, abandoning us. It's very sad. But we are proud to announce that Jason Zora will be our new Public Works Director, at least for interim for 3 months, to see if he enjoys the job and to see if his boss thinks he's doing a good job. So congratulations, Jason. You good?
Thank you.
That's
Thank
everything.
you.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay.
Thank you. Take care, buddy.
Bill,
exactly.
stay safe.
We'll have to do something big for Bill.
Where's Dave?
Can we
I have no idea.
get him like a 3-day cake that's like an excavator or something?
That'd be cool.
There's a lady in Pembroke that's pretty good. She's pretty inexpensive, like, to be
Really?
honest. Yeah. I got her to make Reagan's cake and it was like $100. It was pretty cool.
That's neat.
Dave Hyde, new fire
Doing that
department.
right now.
Yeah, let's take 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was before that, because before amalgamation, I think where Jack's parents live now, there was a buried oil tank on our right of way.
Oh,
Whoever had it before had an oil tank on our right of way and running, I don't know if your parents owned it then, or I think before your parents owned it. I remember we had to go down and dig out this oil tank and pump it out, drain it, and pump it out. And then we just got it to where the hell Beeline and sprung a leak, what was left in.
you know what we could do to solve this? If you put, you know, the 911s, like, so 1 to number 33 is this way, and you know what I'm saying?
With an
If you
arrow?
put the little numbers
Arrow
under
on
the,
bottom.
we could do that.
Oh, it'd just be, you're using
Like
one
it was supposed to
emergency.
be a
for two?
cul-de-sac, but it never got it in.
Oh, is that why?
And then there's
No,
all,
see, cul-de-sac was supposed to come from McPherson's Lane. The one going up higher was supposed to come around, but they stopped it.
Oh,
And then Woody came in this way off of Richardson.
there's a little block of land at the end of that attached to Jack's Island, so that he's got a place to park his car and whatnot when he goes to Jack's Island.
That's off
okay.
Richardson.
But that, I think the numbers underneath the road sign could solve the confusion.
Could they not just, yeah, a lot of times they would just put it on one side and then they're on the other side. because
Yeah.
the holes for it, right?
Yeah,
We don't have a
Not even a
fire.
I think
Frisbee
it's-
device.
That's right.
I think
it's better than having people having to change their ID and their mail, and that, I think that's the cheapest and easiest solution.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, what do you got for us?
So last month, as you can see by our call numbers, we're down. We did have a couple fires to deal with just outside of town. But other than that, hasn't been overly busy in the last month, which is good. We did have 4 people attend the fireworks certification, so now we built up our numbers for that. So we'll keep building on what we've started in the last couple of years as far as Canada Day stuff. Keep moving forward with that, which is good. A couple things that I wanted to talk about in my last stuff. As you know, our ban was dropped. We dropped the level 2 to start with, to allow people to have campfires, and then we waited, watched all the indices and all that good stuff, and eventually lifted the 1. So there's no ban now, but if you saw the wildfire hazard report, I did get a couple of quite angry people when we were still in the level 1, wondering why they couldn't get permits and whatnot. I think they may have contacted the office here. But since the report I gave you and today's, we're actually more in an extreme condition as far as our drop code goes. So it's something that's still, we have to be careful when people do take out permits, that they're not burning excessive sizes so that the heat and the fire gets into the ground, because there's no moisture in the ground. Right, and that's people burn next to tree lines and whatnot, or near larger forests where there's lots of root systems. That's where we have problems. So just trying to explain to people, it's not just the fact that now you have to mow your lawn. Put a shovel in the ground and you can see how dry it is. So that's just a word of caution that we put out through our social media as well, just to remind people that there is a size limitation. And also things that we've come across that people aren't doing within the bylaw, such as screens on burn barrels that are outside of town. With quite a few people that have them that don't have a mesh screen on, which is problematic, and they've never had a mesh screen on it. Right? So trying to educate those people as well. So also, we're going to be moving forward to a mobile decontamination units. 2 of them we're going to buy for through next year's budget. So it'll allow us to, before a firefighter takes off any of the breathing apparatus, whatnot, we can decontaminate them and then rinse them off before they actually come off air to get rid of whatever obviously contaminants are on them from structure fires and whatnot. Yeah, so that's.
This seemed, when I was looking at the brochure, it actually sort of cleans the bunker gears or the turnout gear as well.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, as a firefighter wife, not as the mayor, oh my gosh, bunker gear smells awful after a fire. And that that, I don't even know, that caustic smell sort of stays in it. So I think that these are a really good idea, and for the health and safety of our firefighters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the move is obviously for carcinogens and trying to reduce exposure. I don't think it's enough anymore just to have the guys come and take off their stuff and then it sits there. If they get a fire within an hour or the next day, they're wearing the same stuff because we haven't had time to send it out. So that actually specific detergents are used to be able to reduce the carcinogens and the dirt and whatnot on their gear before they
Take it
take it
out.
off.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, so I think it'll help a lot. We do have, as far as dry, we have a dryer here, so if we hose them off and it's clean, it can be dried, without having to be washed properly. So it doesn't mean we're not still going to send stuff out to be certified and that kind of stuff, but it's another step towards keeping them healthy. So
The picture in the brochure is kind of funny though, of the guy supporting the other guy in the face mask.
Mhm.
So I think there's going to be some,
Well, there's been a bit of hard fight.
who gets, no, I mean, like, who gets to spray down the chief,
Oh.
that kind of thing.
Chief isn't gonna get dirty.
try not to.
That's why he's the chief.
That's right.
Some days I like to, but another thing as well, I've done some research and talking to different companies regarding handling of our SCBA cylinders. We renewed our SCBAs, doubled almost the air pressure in them, but we haven't changed the way we handle them, store them, transport them, all that kind of stuff. So I'm waiting on some quotes on some handling equipment. More or less what they would have to do is retrofit or gut where our SCBAs are now in the truck and put a new storage system in. And it's a handling system as well. So they come out and you saw, I don't know if you can see
Saw
the
the
pictures.
pictures.
Yeah.
Carrying forward.
Yeah, so you carry two at a time. They're in aluminum containers. They can stand upright. They can be used on the fire ground. And if we're taking bottles to Renfrew
Yes.
filled, they're not banging around in the back of somebody's truck on the way in, on the way back. Right?
That never seems safe to me.
It's not.
No.
So that is something that we'll look at for next year, see what kind of dollars and see if possibly maybe the association might contribute to at least
I know
getting
that
that
you can build
going.
them yourself. Yeah.
Not that style. It's kind of a fairly intricate system. Yeah. So that's something that I'd like to look at as well. If not, for next year, we can do it in stages. It's not a system that has to be done all at 100% all at once. So if we do it bit by bit, it might not be too bad. Make it affordable. Other than that, I don't have any other pressing issues. Fire prevention is tomorrow at the schools in town here. So we'll have 5 or 6 people. Our prevention committee will be out tackling the schools tomorrow, spreading the message. Other than that, I have nothing else for this month.
Any questions for the chief?
No.
There you go. I guess one thing, I probably wait until next year or whatever. You should have some communications with Mr. Patrick, Chad, if he's building that boardwalk, about if you want your dry hydrant or whatever's there. Or however you want to do that. Just don't let that fall off the grid, you know what I mean?
Now there's new rock in there.
There's new rock in there, yeah.
Okay.
There's new material in there. I know I met with you briefly and we looked at that and I don't know right now, at that time, we just didn't have the time to do it, and occupy. I don't know, you were talking about you wanted about 3 parking spots there or more, right?
Enough room for a truck to get up to the hydrant.
But that was when the boardwalk was going out into the river, right? That was before.
Yeah, but now it's going, you're still gonna have to have access to get across it.
I'd probably say it's a conversation between the
Well,
chief
that's
and
what,
the
that's
president.
what I said, yeah.
Yeah, you might want to
Just to make sure that doesn't fall off, that's all,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So,
But Chad is planning to put the boardwalk on land,
Mhm.
so that might make it a little easier for you.
and he's not coming up on any of our property either, right?
That's right.
So you could still.
I mean, he said he could if we wanted it, but I don't,
Yeah, I still think access is, the access to a dry well there will give us 365-day water. And as long as there's a fire lane there on municipal, it has to be on municipal property to allow us to get to it, to the dry hydrant. So we need 10 feet of hose between the truck and the hydrant.
And you can't run in between the cars to get it.
Ideally not.
all right, I think
Yeah.
that's a conversation for another day,
Yeah.
definitely, but you should probably get in touch with Chad.
And then you know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if not, we have to go like where we said,
At the end of the guardrail.
at the end of the guardrail, and then you're gonna be taking quite a few parking spots.
Yeah.
Because you're taking from the guardrail right to the hydro pole. Remember when we measured it?
So that's 3 parking spots.
At least.
All right, well, you can bring us back what you think.
Okay,
We'll do that.
all right,
Have a good one.
thanks, Dave.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, Dave.
Moving on to correspondence.
Did everybody see this lovely letter from Kathy Kilby about the naming of the falls?
Yes.
So Sandra and I were chatting before the meeting. We're still not sure if this is in Bonnechere Valley. And
I'd say it's in between.
I
Meaning
know,
that it's on the river.
but the correspondence that we got from the people that are naming the falls, this correspondence should actually go to them because we weren't involved in the naming, correct? But I do like the idea of calling it Menard Falls. So
But the question is who has the right to control the naming of it?
I know.
That's what you have to determine.
Well, maybe we forward this on to them.
Well, forward it on to them, but I think it's because the other side is owned by NAW, right? Is it not?
Yeah, it would be.
But they were just telling us, we were just notified
As a
as a
courtesy?
courtesy.
Oh,
It wasn't,
Yeah, but what gives them the right to name it?
they're the naming authority. You go back to the correspondence when
Yes,
that
that-
came to council.
Okay,
that's actually the woman's title.
the naming.
The
authority.
naming. The title was pretty funny.
You were in, you were dry hard. It's your award. You said
Provincial
it.
Geographic Names Specialist. The Ontario Geographic Names Board Secretariat.
The real.
Yeah.
Really? Well,
Well, if when you look,
maybe you
Alright,
should email her this
Yes,
correspondence that
if
we
you could
have
send it to her, I would really like that.
and see what they're going
Yeah,
to
the
do.
Yeah.
deadline for submissions was August 30th.
Send it anyway.
Send it,
yeah,
Yeah.
like my understanding, like other, like off of like the Mr. Barber, I think other things were named after him as well. Like the mother that we got the email from originally,
Yes,
she had applied for other things. Like I think there's like a road somewhere, I think in Toronto, a couple other things, but
and I think that's what Mrs. Kilby is saying, is
Yeah.
that the Menard family sort of settled that area.
Mhm. And that's why I think that's what we said last, like wait and see if residents kind of voice their opinions
Yeah.
on it. And when you look at it, I think we all know what Menard. So
Yeah. So we're gonna send that on to the geographic name specialist.
okay.
I loved Brent's comment. Is that a real job?
but it's tough nowadays because I get a lot of
Everybody's got a title.
Do we need anything from Joint and Township of Springwater?
No,
No.
that's,
Well said.
that's our
Yeah.
insurance company is doing that.
I didn't see anything else.
I,
We've already touched the speed on Hartwick Street there.
Yep,
Jack,
that was the other thing I
Go
had
ahead,
with an
Brent.
asterisk beside it.
this Dorothy Corbett's healthcare workshop, I talked to Dorothy about that. suggesting she change the date because it couldn't pick the worst date if you tried. So anyway, I suggest that we forward that to Carol Devine
Sure,
as our representative.
yeah.
Is it Carol's email address? Or?
Then just for correspondence B, the city of Hamilton, the consumer patching, I don't really need to like do a support on it, but I think it's amazing how many things people flush down our sewer system that's not meant for. And like their whole thing was labeling flushable wipes, not being able to flush it down.
Yeah.
And like, well, for example, when we walked down and we saw the Dorito bags, someone decided to keep flushing down the sewer system. Like, it's just, I wish people more understood that you can't flush, say, cigarettes and everything down the sewer system because it impacts everything.
And especially not on the septic system.
No, because I see it all the time in all the properties, the amount of things that get flushed down a toilet, it's amazing. People think it's a trash dispenser a lot of the time. So I'm happy to see that a larger city like City of Hamilton is kind of saying that we need to start labeling these things because they aren't meant to go down the sewers.
But usually in those washrooms, there's signs, do not flush.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
But anyway. And
It's
then,
like do not speed, Murph.
and then there's dentures.
Yeah, it's like do not speed.
Press the button.
That's right. Okay. Anything else on correspondence? No. New and unfinished business, County of Renfrew update.
So I don't have any announcements, but I did want to let you guys know that our lengthy delegations at the AMO conference are starting to pay enormous dividends.
Good.
We've had the repeal, obviously, of the long-term care cuts, which I know Pauline is very excited about. I'm sorry, where is she? She's hiding. She's hiding.
I'm right here.
There will be other announcements coming soon. But we're very, very, very pleased with all of the ministers that we had the pleasure to meet with that really took our concerns very seriously.
They're actually listening.
It's amazing. I would say of the 8 delegations I was in, 6 of them have proven themselves out, which you can't do better than that.
No.
You know, a lot of these delegations previously, I sort of felt that I was getting a bit of lip service, and they're fast, right? You only have 15 minutes. And I know that this government rolled out a lot of stuff very quickly and maybe not with a plan. But the fact that we're coming to them and saying, you know, listen, this for rural Ontario, this just isn't working, that it makes me excited to know that they're actually paying attention. I mean, I think we did well with ministers in the past, but this was a lot coming out of the AMO conference. Thanks.
Okay. Community safety and well-being.
I don't know why Sandra keeps putting this on her agenda.
Sandra's,
We want to,
what do we want to do about that? Choose.
it says we have to have one.
Yeah.
We said, well, the county is doing it for us, isn't that?
I'm not doing
Okay.
it. Okay, look, here's the deal.
I know.
So I am not against a community safety and well-being plan that we put together ourselves. My problem is that we don't have the human nor financial resources to fulfill what the province wants us to do with this plan. This includes bringing people in from all sorts of different organizations. They will have to be paid. The person that does the plan will have to be paid. And it appears that the people that have pilot projects, it's not playing out the way they thought. So now you're talking about, you know, it's the old adage, if you don't want to work, plan a meeting. I feel like here in Renfrew County, when we need a resource, we know where to go for that resource, right? We've got Red Cross, we've got Vickers, we've got fire, paramedic, police, we've got PRH with their mental health facility. We know where to go. So I'm not sure, and the premise behind this is that it's going to reduce 911 calls. But nobody can tell me how it's going to reduce 911 calls. So, you know, when you have a domestic dispute, you're not sending a mental health professional, you have to send 2 OPP. So I wish that there could be some framework for rural Ontario of how they expect us to do this and tell me how it's going to reduce 911 calls.
Yeah, that's exactly my concern, Jen. What's the game plan? And what's the end result going to be? What's the payback going to be after you spend all this money, put in all this time? What's the payback going to be?
So it would be my thought that we let other people do them, find out the stats after, say, a year, and if it proves out to reduce calls for service to the OPP, perhaps it's something that we do ourselves. But at this point, even now, Deputy Commissioner Harkins didn't know how it was going to solve calls for service. So it is something that is on his radar, and I will be speaking to him about it again.
Yeah.
But I would like to see how these plans are going to be borne out.
Yeah, what's the end game?
Yep.
As long as they don't, as long as us taking the hard stance on this and saying we're not gonna do it right at this time does not affect us in any other applications like grants / whatever.
For what?
Well, I'm just saying if they could use that against us as you're not following the plans, like the concept. of
Well,
what
the
rate
good news is that the Solicitor General doesn't hand out money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just
Right? It
saying,
doesn't
yeah.
come from the Solicitor General's office.
No, I'm just,
The asset management plan was tied to grants for infrastructure, which made perfect sense. You
Yeah.
do your asset management plan, show the province where you need the money, and then when you go to apply for the grant, the Ministry of Finance gives the Ministry of Infrastructure money. There are no grants to be had here.
okay,
They're not, right? The other question is, we still need to know about this OPP billing model.
oh, I know.
So I think, you know, maybe I would like to see how this goes. But if you guys want to do it,
No,
then we'll have to find some money in the budget to do it, and it's not going to be cheap.
I'm not keen on spending money at this point in time.
We didn't budget for this,
No, I know.
right?
And again, as I say, what is the end game? What's the result?
The end game is supposed to be that it
Supposed to be,
reduces.
but how do
That's-
words on paper reduce calls?
How does 20 people sitting around a boardroom table discussing different issues in different corners of the county, how does that reduce 911 calls? I don't get it. People are going to phone 911 when they need 911.
Yep.
Or a butt dial. You know what
Yeah,
happens.
all right, there we go. Okay, moving on. Mr. Kennedy's retirement.
We're gonna have to do something for him. But now it's on Hootie.
Pizza and beer.
When we're off Hootie, I think that we should plan a surprise.
Yeah.
Bill, don't listen.
I don't think Bill watches
Yeah,
it.
no, we'll figure something out.
Don't do it during deer hunting.
Yeah.
No. Well, obviously, we want to, if he's coming to the Christmas party, we certainly want to acknowledge him there. I think we just need to figure out how we're gonna do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we should definitely be doing something for him on his
Yes,
last day.
I agree with you. After 32 years, whatever,
Yeah.
he's worth a dinner.
He is worth a dinner.
Yeah. Okay, then we have,
We'll get moved to buy it, so it gets a senior's
Sure.
discount.
Yes,
yeah,
you're always thinking, man.
As long as they get a tax receipt.
Get a receipt, yes.
I think Jack is almost senior's discount time.
no,
Not quite?
nice try. Nice try,
Just saying, man.
yeah. Fully accessible barrier-free washroom facility at McCray Park.
So
So that'll be for tonight.
just a resolution?
Just a
Okay,
resolution.
excellent.
We've established the funding and stuff on that. Have you heard anything? With their meeting? Did they have a meeting?
Yeah, I sent the minutes out for that, so, yeah, so that's all taken care of, like the 10,000 for the revitalization stuff. And then tomorrow I have a meeting for that too, so I'm gonna request, probably $2,000 that we can put towards the lighting that faces out to McCray's Park on Hydro Pole there as well. Just because I have my meeting tomorrow for that, so I got Bill to give me how much the cost is for that
Okay.
as well. So it's just because that's within our funding model, like within the
Okay.
lighting for the waterfront and everything, so.
But the other thing I think I would like, since we're on this topic, Jack brought to this table that the Obiango Park needs new apparatus, and they were willing to fundraise. That money in that natural play space fund, Dana, if you want to get rid of it before the end of the year, which we probably should, I think we give it to them. Perfect. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
Because that would be half the project, right?
Do we have any other money kind of lying around though, to be honest? Like when I got the email saying that we had the 5,000 for the natural play structure, like, do we have any funds or like?
You'd have to ask our
That's-
funder over
Yeah,
there.
Just some money around in my pockets.
that's perfect.
Carries a black purse.
I think it's wonderful that we got this grant though,
No, it's awesome.
for the washroom. It's fantastic.
Lease for Eagle ambulance space.
Sign it.
I already explained to the chief and the deputy chief that they cannot have another bay, that they cannot have the 3 bays at the front. We have no more room. They ask for it every time, and every time we've denied them.
Right.
So, you know, we're tight for space in there as it is. Brian Leahy is waiting for a letter from Sandra.
Okay, so then there was a couple other
Yes,
conditions. So they want
Mhm.
for a 5-year lease
Mhm.
with an 18-month termination clause on both sides.
Yep.
But then when that 5 years is over, they're proposing to go month to month.
yes.
Month to month, but with an 18-month.
No,
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 not after that.
5 years,
Yeah.
month to month.
So just month to month, like a 30 or 60 days notice or?
I think they're, yeah,
I think it's 30.
yeah.
It's
yeah,
month to
about
month generally.
32.
It's commercial, so we can set it, but.
So
What's
are
going on?
you okay with that?
What's going on
or-
in 5 years that they want to go to?
Don't look at me like that. I don't know.
Want to get a river going?
I would assume at some point we're going to have to build another paramedic base in Renfrew County.
Well, we're centralized, so
Yeah.
should probably be
Yeah,
a
that'll
spot.
work.
Or
have
we
to
could
build a
just
new-
go back and say,
we're
no,
gonna
we'll
have to
do
build a new
5
office
years,
and
and
give them
at
this
the
one.
5-year mark, we'll.
Yeah,
Well, in year 4, we can negotiate again if we want. So, put it in there.
I'm fine with everything else.
So 5-year, just a 5-year.
Mhm.
Now,
With 18 months.
With 18 months.
yeah, but not the month to month at the end of the 5
No.
years.
Generally, leases just roll month to month after and anyways automatically, so we can put in it if we want to negotiate in year 4 to do up another lease. Like every single lease is technically, like it doesn't generally expire.
Yeah.
It just automatically rolls.
So right now, we clean their building, like their space
Yes.
twice a year, just to spring and a fall clean.
Yep.
So they're asking for cleaning.
Clean.
Monthly, weekly,
What do they want cleaned?
for upstairs room, I
Probably like the toilets and the counters and the
So,
garbage is emptied.
So that'd be daily.
Sandra, what I was thinking, if they want to go about that, is that we would negotiate a square footage of what the total square footage of everything that our cleaners clean, and then just incorporate that in and offer them that. That's the set price for it, pretty much. I would do it on square footage.
Yeah, because they already sort of decobweb the base.
Yeah, I think it's for their part upstairs.
Then they'll have to pay for it.
mean, they're
It's
that
not
big.
going to be inside that. It's going to be above what the lease
Well,
is.
then I would propose a bigger increase.
Yeah.
My understanding from reading it was that they were just switching it from because the original wording was paramedic staff will provide day-to-day janitorial services, and they just wanted the paramedic staff amended to allow janitorial. So my question would have been, do they just want to bring in their own janitorial? So then we would just offer them our cleaner.
No, I think
at
they
square
want
footage?
ours
Because that's what the
because there's
wording
somebody
says.
already here, right? So, can you provide us with what you think the rent increase should be, including janitorial?
Yeah, I could.
You'd have
You know,
to
this
ask
was a
them.
negotiation. We should probably be enclosed for this.
I can come up with some numbers for the cleaning then. and bring
Yeah,
that.
that would be great. Thank you.
Number 5, harmful algae monitoring program, algae B.
You talked about that with, Sarah?
Sarah, yeah.
Perfect,
Resolutions for tonight.
great.
And 7, legal seminar, Cunningham and Swan.
Is anybody going?
I'd like to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do it as well.
I will be in London,
I can't make it.
Ontario, not England.
I could probably go to it.
Great.
John, sorry, you're gonna go?
I will go, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And Murph
No.
and Brent.
Somebody bring me a donut.
What's that?
Said somebody bring me a donut.
If the Commonwealth is doing the
Well,
Sarah,
I'm sure there will be,
I'd wrap a couple of wax paper.
if you don't mind, Mark. Please.
Did you talk
I
to
like the
Kevin?
priorities.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a good donuts.
So I just want to make you guys aware that for the next couple of weeks, my schedule is really crazy. Tomorrow I am going to Malton, which is near Mississauga, on a bus with 30 of my favorite people from the county of Renfrew and the Bonnechere Manor Foundation. We are going to see a long-term care home that has in place what's called the butterfly model, which is a model for patients with dementia that we would like to institute at Bonnechere Manor. So we're trekking down and trekking back the same day. It should be interesting. Next week, I am in Lindsay at the end of the week for my last Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus meeting. And the week after that, and I want to talk about our October 23rd meeting, after my shared services meeting that morning, I am flying to London for an AMO meeting on Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday. So we changed our meeting from the 22nd to the 23rd. Now Dana has a public meeting scheduled for the 23rd. I tried to switch our meeting back to the 22nd, but it gets a bit messy, so I didn't know what you guys thought. If you wanted to come in here at 5:20 on the Wednesday and do the public meeting and switch our meeting back to 1:30 on the Tuesday, or if you just wanted to leave it, but I will not be here.
Well,
May as well do it on Tuesday.
but it doesn't matter to me, but I've got a doctor's eye appointment in Renfrew at 11 o'clock. So I'm presumably I'll be back here by 1:30. It's a 1:30 meeting. I hopefully won't be late.
For what day is that, Murph?
That's the 23rd.
That's the Wednesday.
That's the Wednesday.
But we were talking about moving it back to Tuesday.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I'm available Tuesday. Doesn't matter.
Tuesday's fine with me.
Tuesday's good.
Okay, but then you guys are gonna have to be here at 5:20 on Wednesday, and somebody will have to chair that public meeting.
Oh, so it's the second meeting.
Yes,
It has to because it's already been advertised.
Oh,
that's where I'm saying it gets a bit muddy.
So maybe it's best if we went ahead with it on Wednesday.
yeah,
Yeah, just keep it on the Wednesday, I guess.
sure, keep it on the Wednesday.
Okay, well, I'm sorry I can't be here.
I'm a
So-
little,
We'll be okay.
I hopefully it'll be on time, but I'm a little bit late.
And
Yeah, how much is
I guess you can watch us online.
Sure.
I will be watching you
Sure.
online from the plane. And Sandra has very kindly moved the Lake Clear delegation off that meeting because I really want to be here for that.
Just taking one plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
private.
Yes, no.
good. That's good,
I
Joe.
Jordan
got
gets a
it.
private jet.
I got it.
Didn't take two.
Yeah, you're pretty funny.
Hey, yeah,
I would have to go by
Um,
train.
take that, you don't.
That's right. Yeah, so if you're looking for me, it'll be interesting. Staff Sergeant. So obviously Staff Sergeant Dowdle is now retired. We have an acting Staff Sergeant for the next few months. But I was lucky enough to be part of the OPP hiring panel with Craig Abrams, who is a superintendent, and Chris Harkins, who was our chief superintendent for Eastern Region, who is now, as I said, deputy commissioner. So congrats to Chris. And the successful candidate was Pat DeSaverio. He and his wife Megan will be moving shortly, and he will be installed at the Killaloe detachment. I made it abundantly clear that we will have high expectations. especially when it comes to community policing. So, but it was a very interesting day to say the least.
Just for curiosity, how many candidates did you have? I did that in 2009 when Colin Slate was selected.
We interviewed 5 candidates.
We had more than that. And I sat there with some of them. I said, was I that dumb when I was sitting on the other side of the table?
It was
stupid things like that.
It was a very interesting process, to say the least.
Yeah, that was the Smith Falls.
All right. So I guess that's it. And we need to establish that, well, next meeting, we did that media session, right?
I'm good, thank you.
Rudy?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay.
Kind of boring today.
Well, you guys are easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So meeting's on the 23rd then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will be watching you guys.
Maybe or maybe not.
We'll open up the comments for you.
That's right.
Can't say anything nasty.
And depending on how it goes on the 21st, I might be leaving the country too.
Good point.
Yeah, I might not be here.
What I will do is I will phone in on my drive to the airport. Because I don't get on the plane until 3. Maybe that's what I'll do.
I don't know, it depends what's on the meeting. Anyway, so there might not be much on it. So
Yeah, if-
There's not much on it
depending.
right now.
Okay. Okay. I hate to miss a meeting. I'm really sorry, guys.
Anyway,
Oh, well.
This is really important, though.
All right. So I guess
Okay,
we're closed now?
Yeah, we've got 2 more.
So I can end this.
And
Yeah.
meeting is
We didn't give-
adjournment, I guess.
We didn't give our viewers much to dig into today.
Oh, that'll be not tonight. They'll be